What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be revealing the new daily. Here it is, 2017 Volkswagen Golf All Track, 6-speed manual car, black leather interior. I'm really loving it. I've had it for about a week now, and it brings me slightly back to my Golf R days. Big difference from the Land Rover, which served me well for a few years. All these projects were towed by that truck, so it's bittersweet, but I'm much more happy in a Volkswagen again. And we started hoarding parts for it already, so got some wheels in, some suspension parts, airlines. It's gonna be a fun one. I got the trunk setups already in the trunk. I don't think we're gonna get into that too much today. Today's gonna be more about Riverside Chattanooga prep, which is a show put on in Chattanooga, obviously, and that's next weekend. Got the motor pulled out of the bug. There's some oil leaks that I mentioned in a previous video that just need to be addressed, as you can see. Believe it to be coming from the oil cooler, so we'll pull that off, get the seals off. All the tins got to come off. The fan's just been slinging oil everywhere, so all that stuff's got to get cleaned up, maybe repainted. We'll see how far we want to go with it. But I think this is going to be the first video on the 58. I built this car I started about 2 years ago. Finished it last year. This car is, it's not perfect, but it's a lot of fun. And I want to make sure that I could drive it around, so that's what we're doing. We'll get you set up, start pulling the motor apart, getting things cleaned up, and go from there. Had John stop by, help me get it on these cinder blocks, drain the oil out of it. Surprisingly, there's a decent amount of oil in it. So set you up on the time lapse, start getting the tins off and exhaust off, all that good stuff. I pulled the oil cooler off, and that looks like the culprit. There's a bunch of oil just laying underneath it. So looks like this one is no good. Oh yeah. So I got a gasket kit. We'll replace those, clean everything up, get it back together. Alright, these gaskets too are pretty chewed up. On the 1600, the oil cooler is offset. On the later ones, just because they offset it because it would block the flow of air to the third cylinder. So that was kind of a fix for it. But all these seals are no good. One seal on the bottom connecting to the block was bad, and then one connecting to this offset bracket was also bad. So we will get them replaced, and hopefully that fixes our issue. Got everything cleaned up best we could. I started to put it back together, realized that I didn't have the right seals. I had type 3 seals, so I called a buddy who lives local, and luckily he had some. Ran over there, he gave me what I needed, and we're gonna reassemble the oil cooler, and then we'll start cleaning some stuff up a bit. So you're gonna pop these seals in here like so. You got your spacers there. And you're just gonna slip the cooler back on. Want to make sure that all the seals stay seated. Some washers. Get those on. Just want to evenly tighten this stuff, snug it all up. Click, click, click. You can see in there. Seals are all nice and seated. So this one's pretty simple as well. You're gonna take your two seals. I like to put them in the block first. Slip it straight down. And then tighten it up. These ones under here can be a real pain, but we get that tightened up and we'll bring you back. All right, 4 10mm. These out. I imagine it's going to be pretty gross in here. Yeah, there's quite a bit of oil all over the place. I don't know if you can really see it on the camera, but pretty big buildup. So we'll get that degreased. All right, guys. Letting the shroud dry a little bit out there. Don't know if you can see it. And I'm just starting to feel the pressure. Does anyone else decide they want to go to a show and have all these things to fix on their car, and then they just bust it out at night during the week before they go? Well, that's what I'm doing. It's currently Tuesday. I'm supposed to drive the Bug 160 miles to Chattanooga on Friday morning. And this is where we're at. So, I got new shocks coming. They're supposed to be here Thursday. And then the big thing is the throwout bearing and the clips, because the clips are just gone. They must have gotten eaten up by the flywheel. I have no clue. But they're not here. So they're supposed to get here Friday. I'm hoping that changes. If not, I'm gonna have to dig something up from a friend or parts I got laying around, but I'd really like to put all new in if I'm gonna throw the motor back in. But that's where we're at right now. All track tires showed up today. That's good. But yeah, let's see if we can get it done. Fan shroud's back on. I went ahead and replaced the stud for the exhaust, so hopefully that takes care of our little exhaust leak. Tomorrow we'll focus on valve cover gaskets, tailpipes, just little stuff that that we could get done while we're waiting for parts. And if those parts show up, then we're in pretty good shape. So we'll bring you back tomorrow. Alright, it's the next day. Currently Wednesday, 9 o'clock. Parts came in. Throwout bearing, clips, shocks. So all of the parts needed to get to Chattanooga have been acquired. All that's left to do is put it in. So we'll get started doing tailpipes and stuff like that. Fun putting the shiny stuff on. So when we were pulling the motor, Anthony noticed this, which I'm glad he did because I probably wouldn't have. So I'm going to change out the shocks with the new ones that we got. Light and space is limited, so I'll just do it off camera. Bring you back. Alright, shocks are in. I went ahead and put the throwout bearing in, so that's done. Valve cover gaskets, just because it's easy. And motor's going back in. Hopefully I could get it done by myself. Hopefully these shocks do better than these ones did. These are just some cheap ones I threw in when I built the car and never replaced. So let's get it. Alright, motor's where it needs to be. About to pop it in. A little sketchy by yourself, but we'll make it work. Alright guys, motor's in, it's all bolted up. I'm just working on some of the wiring. I'm gonna keep trucking along. I'll bring you guys back tomorrow because my son's sleeping and I can't start it tonight anyway, so I'm going to try to get as much done as possible. That way tomorrow's startup, test drive, and then hopefully we leave for Chattanooga Friday morning. We'll see. Alright, it's currently Thursday night. We leave for Chattanooga in the morning, and I think we're good. Motor's in, got the wheels back on it. I still have to put some tins on and engine gasket, but I figure let's start it up. Should be fine. Sounds good. It runs. Sounds really good. So I think that's going to be the end of this. This is my Riverside prep video. If you guys want to see if we make it to Riverside, subscribe to the channel. Next video will probably be the trip down and the show itself. We got a bunch of content coming up, a couple of different builds. We'll get more onto the 58. We have the all-track now. My buddy's car, a couple of my buddy's cars, we're going to be doing a lot of work too, so should be good. I really appreciate everyone watching. With that being said, we'll see you next week.